Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to some. I want to go ahead and apologize that I don't have the background, the beautiful background, but please trust and believe and know that I'm with you. And I want to go ahead and start by sending my own love and my own heart your way. And so I am privileged and honored to be here. Thank you, Maheen, for your leadership and just pulling us all together. I love that we are able to give our voice in different arenas for a great cause. So happy International Women's Day and Women's History Month. This is our time to shine. And so I'm grateful to be able to share any of my story and my journey with you. And I hope that there's something that can resonate with you with what I have been able to do as a feminist change maker, representing Sierra Leone and the US. So this is just a title page that just shows my favorite E-words: empowerment, education, and enrichment. And you're going to hear that that is part of our story, our path in what we do. So go ahead to the next slide. Can you advance to the next slide? Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and proceed. So, as mentioned before, this is just to kind of give you an outline of what I'm going to talk about. Again, I'm going to share just about Impact Sierra Leone, and this is just a picture showing you my home country, Sierra Leone. I am born and raised in the U.S., but I am a descendant who took the journey to go and discover her roots. And while discovering my roots, I discovered my purpose. And that is really when that female empowerment, that change maker was birthed in me. And that was 2003. And so I'm going to talk about Impact Sierra Leone, the Seeds of Life program, the issues, the problems that I saw when I opened my eyes as I planted my feet there, and how it led me to empowering and standing up for the women and girls, because their issues are my issues, are our issues. And this is something that became a part of my passion. And so I'm going to talk about that and just talk about how we need assistance. We need support on every end from every agency so that we, people like me, can do more and do greater. Okay, so I'm going to go to the next slide. Just to show again, to share about who I am. That young lady there is somebody who just had a burning passion to start something. And I went to Sierra Leone, and I'm a passionate guru of public health and nutrition. And I pull all those background skills together to really go back and start a cause and start a movement. And that is what I want us to think about in everything that we're doing and speaking about today. We're not just doing something we love. We are actually starting a movement. We have movements in every corner. And I want us to think about that and that higher thought process. So I'm the founder of Impact Sierra Leone. And I want that word to resonate with you, impact, because whatever I do, whatever I say, I want it to be impactful. And the people that I lead, I want them to feel impactful. And it's all about our voice. We're using our voices today to reach out and talk about our cause, but we're also speaking and being a voice for people who can't speak, who don't have a voice, who don't have a platform. And so this is what I do. I proudly use my voice and my platform to improve my lives while embracing the culture. Next slide. So this is just a picture of Impact Sierra Leone. Our mission, of course, we reduce poverty in Sierra Leone and the United States through sustainable agriculture, education, skills training, and building strong partnerships with the diaspora. And I always tell people I love to think that we are a bridge, because whether I like it or not, I am born in American soil to parents who are from Africa. So I am a natural born bridge, whether I like it or not. And so I connect and I think about that in everything that I do, that I bring the stories, the journeys of women and men are in rural communities. And I bring those stories here to the US and London, wherever the platform is. And I'm so grateful to have met Maheen, because she's one who heard my story, and that's how we connected. And this is what I believe continues our ability to reach, is to keep the story going, keep our story and our journeys powerful. So these are just some of the beautiful people, as you can see, Impact Sierra Leone. I try to paint Impact Sierra Leone so that they know that we are with them. And it's very important as we fight for people and we stand up for people, it's important that they know that we are with them in every way, not to just come, stop, and leave, but to be there to see things to fruition. And that is what Impact Sierra Leone did. We adopted a community in rural Sierra Leone and decided that we were going to see how they would develop their community development. We wanted to do it in a way that would be sustainable. And so this is what Impact Sierra Leone stands for. Next slide. So at the end of the day, I did not travel to Sierra Leone or start this journey just because my eyes were open, and the issues, the problems for most of what we encountered was poverty. And yes, we have poverty all over the world, but there are some communities that have more extreme poverty. And if you don't know about Sierra Leone, they did experience a civil war, 10-year civil war. And most countries who have endured a civil war, there's a lot of setbacks. There's a lot of the poverty is more extreme than others. And so with this community, we have kids who eat one meal a day, or there's no food programs in schools where we have it here, and the nutritional deficiencies are high. And so as time went on, this problem continued to be an resonating sound in my mind. Like, how can I attack this? Maybe I'll just send a bag of rice just buy bags of rice. But at the end of the day, when you add up, that's not sustainable. And I decided, not only do I want to bring rice, but I want to actually help them grow rice and use the land to cultivate the land that is in abundance and take advantage of that. And I was introduced to Global Goodwill Ambassadors. And again, as you tell your story, as you share your voice, I tell you one thing, it may not happen overnight, but there are people who are listening. There are people who are watching. And as women, especially those who are trying to change the world, your voice must be a resonating sound. Your voice must be heard and amplified, and on a consistent basis. And that is what happened. I used my LinkedIn and Facebook to continue to tell the story and to be introduced. And I was introduced to people like Global Goodwill Ambassadors and so many other platforms that led me to know that you have to take it to another level. You have to connect to the Sustainable Development Goals so that you can be sustained tomorrow. And that is what led us to Seeds of Life program. And the Seeds of Life program, that's actually the next slide. This is our anchor program that we created because we saw that we couldn't just come into a community to, just do one thing. Everything has an effect. So as we're trying to feed the children, it led us to what? The parents of the children, and it led us to their needs. And what we discovered is that the illiteracy rate is so high in that community. And so we had to use my creative approach. And so as Maheen shared, I love graphic design. I love posters. I love spelling bees. And again, I looked within me and decided, as I come into this community, I'm taking everything I got. I may not have all the resources, but I'm going to take everything, every skill set that I have to bring life and bring community development in the right way. And that's what Seeds of Life became. I started making posters, and I was introduced to the parents, and the women really struck my heart. And one of the things that I noticed is that they did not speak a lot. They looked at me, they smiled at me, but as I continued to visit the community, I noticed these women are not speaking, and they look very sad and depressed. And I was a burst of joy. If you know me, I'll go into a room and I want everyone to smile. So I decided I'm going to change this one way or the other. And step by step, we did that. And at the end of the day, listening to people, even when you don't speak the same language, matters. When they know their voice matters, when they know that you are listening, when they know that you actually want to help them authentically, it matters. And Seeds of Life program brought that, led us to starting an initiative. And if you go to the next slide, during my second visit, I gave the mic to all the women. After I heard the men, and I noticed, there's reality is that there is a lot of male dominance in in a lot of cultures. I gave the mic to the women, and I told them, please tell me what you want to see in your community. And almost all the women said, we want our own farm project. I don't know how, but we want to do our own farming. We don't want to depend on the men of the community. We want to do our own farming and our own way. And I listened to them. I came back to the U.S. I just pondered on it. I talked to different people. And what it resulted in is that the following year, if you go to the next slide, we launched out of that identification of a problem. I realized there are lack of resources for women. And but in addition to that, there are lack of resources for women farmers. Not many women own farms. And so I decided, you know what, again, we're going to change that. And so on the heels of Women's Day for the next year, where the theme was breaking barriers or break the bias, we launched a Women's Farm Collaborative. And that is basically 40 women 40 women farmers. And these are a lot of the women parents of the children that we were serving. 40 women farmers who decided we want to be a part of this. And basically, the Women's Farm Collaborative was to help bring them skills, to help bring them tools, seedlings, but also to help them have a way to meet together. And as you know, women, we like to meet together for a cause and to build each other up. We need that unity. So the Women's Farm Collaborative is something that became our solution to helping these women have their own project, to have their own identification. And if you go to the next slide, this is a program that we sponsored. And again, it started off under the Seeds of Life umbrella, but it's actually taken off on its own. And since that time, the women have grown groundnuts, have grown okra, have grown beans, crane. I don't know if anyone knows. You can probably put in the chat if you know any of these foods. But again, most of these foods are staple items that are eaten in Sierra Leone, but they benefit the children. In partnership with the clinic, we realized a lot of the mothers who have babies, they don't have food enough to even make the breast milk. So if you look at all these problems that are glaring around the women, it makes sense to start a women's, I guess you can say, a women's club that empowers them. And so today, the women are smiling. The women know we have our own, and we're going to the next level by not only giving them seedlings and tools, but we're going to the next level because they want to now make garments. They want to learn skills. They want to learn how to read. And so as you continue to think about when we see the problem, when we see the needs, you have to look at the overarching end goal. And for me, I see the vision. I see women making garments and selling them and being able to create an online market. This is my vision for these women, and to take it into other villages and other areas. Because a lot of times when I go to Sierra Leone, I always bring garments back and I always show them off. And people want to see more. They love that cultural diversity. They love that inclusion. And that is something that I realized, this is my way to give back. But I need more support. And so as we think about it, just think about 10 people just like me. Can you imagine if we all developed Women Farms Collaborative in different communities that don't have that presence? And if we have the funding, just imagine what we could do. We pretty much transform rural communities into a sustainable city. And so I'm really, really happy to be able to do this work, because every time they have the harvest and they're harvesting bags of peanuts and they're clapping, they're celebrating, I'm celebrating with them. That's a celebration of achievement that is going to be going to the next step. And so I don't know if you can go to the next slide, just kind of sharing just different success of how the women who, as you can see, these are women, again, who I met who were downcast, who really did not have any celebration on their face. It has transformed them just by using my resources and using my own platform to try to instill in them that empowerment that, you know what, you are valuable. And I tell you one thing, when I say the power of the voice, there is power in words. So I make posters that says, I am brilliant, I am blessed, I am brave, and I allow them to see those and feel those words. And I'm really excited because I'll be going there soon, and we will soon be giving them beans, black-eyed beans. And it is a very, very popular bean. We call it here black-eyed peas, but I'm excited because we're going to be giving each of them 2 cups. They don't have to pay us back. They use it to feed their family. And at the end of the day, we're going to start a seed program where it can grow even more. So as I kind of come up to a conclusion, I want to just share that this is not just for us to kind of come in and solve one problem. We want to work towards economic growth, productivity, and starting these women into small business owners. And it can happen. But I do believe that with grant funding, knowing where the grants are, especially for those who are working in rural communities, because, doing work in the international world is different from that in the States, because there are some targeted grant funding that are for those who are working in specific areas in the United States. But I think that building that kind of resource toolkit for women like myself, through USDA, United Nations, US World Bank, these are the things that I really feel is critical. Having women in those leadership roles that recognize that women like me need and can use the funding that will take us and grow more women that can be able to, do great things and feed themselves, but also become business owners. We don't want people to just say, I want to eat today. I want them to eat 10 years from now. Okay. So I'm going to read a quote as I come to a close. Change will not come if we wait for some other person or some other time. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the change that we seek. That is a quote by former President Barack Obama. And I wanted to just leave that quote for you because, again, I came and I went just by my own self, but I represent more people. If we all took the time to say, you know what, let me don't wait until I have $100 million in the bank. Let me start with what I can and continue to tell the story and let it trickle down. And then at the end of the day, it will open doors to more opportunities. So I'm going to share our website, impactceoleone.org. We are on LinkedIn. We are on YouTube. I share the story. That's our poster about the Women's Farm Collaborative. I just actually printed that as a banner because when I go, we're going to stand behind that banner and I want them to identify themselves, know how far they have come. And so if you want to connect with me, please, I want to connect with you today. I would love to hear your story and let us continue to use our voices to propel and lead into the future. The future is now. And as you see the women that I'm sharing, these are going to be women that are going to soon learn. I'm speaking again to the future. So I want you to join me. They're going to be learning not only to sew and make garments, but they're going to learn computers and they're going to connect with women that are here in the state side. And I think that is one of the most important things for us as women change makers, to always have that visionary approach to see beyond. So again, thank you. My name is Dr. Adama Kalokoh, and I am a proud feminist change maker. And I thank you for this opportunity again to celebrate with me with what we are doing with the women farmers and taking them to the next level of agriculture. I love all of you guys, and I give you my heart. And you can feel free to, again, reach out to me. Thank you, Maheen. I love you.